I'm trying to think about this right now, and I didn't do the research on it. And research is my middle name for all of these shows and my life. Say hi to Kelly there, sending out my waves like usual. Um, I think you have been on more than anyone else.
No
I,
way.
I'm not really sure. I think you have. I
I'm
have to take a look.
I'm like Tom Hanks or something. The SNL
No,
host. That kind of how I am.
you're actually better than that. You're more like you're more like Kevin Bacon. From
Oh,
you, from you. If I go take a list of people that have been on the show, I don't know, it was like over 300 guests or whatever. I'm gonna see that everyone's connected to you some kind of way. And
this is
any future guests,
this is why I come back.
you come back because you get to be treated as a diva the way you should be treated.
Thank you.
And you're humble. So humble. All right. So my main objective, as you know, is to showcase your book
Oh,
uh, because it's a couple of subjects that mean a lot to me. So hello to Kelly and all of you that are saying hi. Everyone this day. Enjoy me looking all different places because, as I mentioned, I took a few days off and now I'm back doing a live, and so I'm getting acclimated. And that's why I wanted to do it with you because I knew I would be taking time off and I wanted someone that I felt comfortable with
thank you.
to come back. So thank you.
Thank
Your book, though,
Yeah.
I have to ask, I didn't ask this ahead of time. You have a copy there, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
Phew. Okay, totally forgot. Wait, you got no. You have to hold it up in a few more seconds longer so everyone can see it, and a little bit higher and higher. Right there, right there. That's perfect. So everybody, please take a screenshot. Go to it's on Amazon. Yes, Alyssa.
Yeah. On
Okay.
Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody, feel free to get your gaslighting recovery journal. Tell us about it, by all means.
Woo. So yeah. So it's written obviously in a journal format. There's various prompts. There's various exercises. I offer at the beginning of each chapter, at the beginning of each subject, just a little introduction to kind of what's to come, maybe some of my hopes around it for the readers.
Mhm.
And then something that I really tried to do was make it sequential, build it upon itself, so that
Mhm.
do a prompt like in chapter 1, we might revisit it in a variation, 2 chapters in. So
Okay.
it's all about healing from gaslighting and from emotional abuse.
Okay. So today, what I wanted to also add for everyone that's here in the audience is if you could please, everyone that's here, I see Anashka is here and a few others. A warrior woman speaks the roots of empathy. I believe the first name is Tim, if I got that right. The roots of empathy. I apologize if I got it wrong. Shay Shay's here and a few others, as well as April. If you could please, all of you that are here, feel free to tell us what you've experienced when it came to gaslighting and what you have experienced. We're not going to be able to spend a great deal of time all day with my dear friend here, but I want everyone to share what you've experienced so that all of us that are here together right now can get an idea of the depth of gaslighting as well as emotional abuse. And this journal is able to help in how many different ways from your perspective as the author of the book.
Yeah. I think, it can offer release. It can offer a safe space to share your own awareness of things, your own story. It's something too that my hope is people will revisit, so they'll complete it and then complete it again and perhaps again, so it can really offer like a timestamp of where you once were and how far you progressed in your recovery. So I feel like it can do a lot of things.
When it comes to emotional abuse, you're a therapist. You've
Yes.
seen the patterns that develop. A
Yes.
lot of those patterns in the experience of emotional abuse and gaslighting. And again, everybody that's here, Maywish, I noticed that you just joined. It's good to see you, my friend, here as well. House had Johnny as well. Um, Feel free to share your experience or how you have maybe helped someone overcome emotional abuse or help them get away from someone who is their gaslighter. So when it comes to this emotional abuse and the gaslighting that these troublemakers do to their victims,
Yeah.
it's not always in a, as it were, a romantic relationship. It can extend itself in many different ways
Yes.
within generational situations, family units. What's your experience as a therapist? These patterns of emotional abuse
Right.
and gaslighting that we can be aware of.
Sure. I mean, my specialty area is working with adult children that have experienced narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, gaslighting in that respect. So I will come at it from that perspective first. And
Mhm.
it's very much intergenerational. A lot of the times we can trace it, up through the generations and see how it's trickled down. And then because we've been susceptible to this type of abuse, what can then happen sometimes is we can have the same patterns repeat in other relationships in our lives, maybe in a work relationship, maybe in a spousal partner situation.
Okay.
So it's really awareness. I mean, to me, I think that's the first step of healing, is bringing things to our awareness in a really different way than perhaps before.
Since that's the case and it can show itself, this pattern of existence or lifestyle, because maybe individual, let's say me, I was mismanaged at a young age within a generational or in a family setting or with siblings. And now I start to develop the same lifestyle of being the victim and abused in other areas. It can show itself and keep repeating itself. But it does no good if we really don't know what gaslighting and the many variations of it
Yeah,
actually are. And
right,
that's pretty much what April's highlighting to us. April asked the question, can you give
right.
examples of gaslighting? There's so much on it. And this is, again, why I wanted you beside the book,
Thank you.
because I'm not an expert, but this is something my audience wants to know.
Sure.
What is gaslighting?
Right. Thank you for asking that question, because it's a term that we become much more familiar with in our society, and I believe sometimes it's not used correctly. So,
Okay.
gaslighting in its true form is something that perhaps a narcissist does to their target to impart psychological doubt. That is the biggest reasoning behind it, to create psychological doubt, to create dependence upon the abuser, from
Mhm.
the target to the abuser, and to really make us question ourselves. Um, really look deep inside, wondering if we're right. Is that really how it happened? And just to create that spin on it, really, so our head is spinning. And in the
Okay.
book, I talk about it like a fog that we can't see through. We can't find our way through to see ourselves.
Okay.
So,
Gaslighting can make it difficult for us to see ourselves
absolutely.
because we're the target, and the narcissist or the toxic person, the person who's initiating the gaslighting wants us to not see reality, if I understand you correctly.
Correct. Correct. And
Wow.
their reality is not reality.
Oh,
So,
wait, time out. Nope, time out. That's the good one. That's the good one. Their reality is not reality.
no,
Okay, so check this out. So then we could literally start to think that their reality is a reality if we're not careful.
that's right. That's their hope.
And then we get caught up in denying what's really happening or that what we need to do to be safe because they've essentially hijacked our brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes from the play and the movie Gaslight, where this husband, to control his wife, begins to move things subtly in the room, begins to turn down the gas lights, and the wife questions him, says, "Wait a minute, it seems like the lights are a little dim in here." "Oh, no, no, they're not." "Well, yeah, I feel like they were brighter." "No, the lights are always this way," right? So we begin to question our own reality and adapt the reality of our abuser, of our gaslighter.
Right. And this gives the predator, the toxic person, the narcissist, it gives them room to do what then? I mean, if what are they trying to do?
Control,
Okay.
puppet, You know, I always think of it as like a marionette operator, like they're pulling.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering too that the core fear of the narcissist that's abusing us, their core fear is abandonment. So anytime that's real or perceived, they're going to act out. They're going to gaslight to keep us there, to keep
But
us from.
but when a person figures it out, or they're gonna leave them anyhow. It's
Yeah,
just it's
that's
like totally
oh
counterproductive.
yeah, it's this. It's this.
Ah, okay. And so that's just now by doing that, does that feed their energy? Does that feed them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's their supply. That's how they get their supply. So anytime we engage in that, anytime we question, that's feeding their supply.
Wow. Now I'm going to turn back to the screen here. That was April's question to you. Kelly McDonald, 79, says, "I'm not sure if this is gaslighting, but my narcissistic father will call me awful names and then not talk to me, then act like nothing ever happened."
Yep, absolutely gaslighting. They
Wow.
just under the rug. They can't understand why we're still holding on to it either. You know, that's something perhaps we've all heard is, well, just get over it. Why can't you move on? You're too sensitive, right? All techniques, all artistry of the gaslighter.
And if somebody grew up in a house like that, okay,
Yeah.
then there's a pretty good chance their first boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever job boss is going to treat them that way, and they're going to think it's okay. And now they develop this lifestyle of being a target.
Right. Right.
Wow.
We're more susceptible. We're also starved for unconditional love
Oh,
and attention. So we may gravitate, right, towards anything that seemingly offers us that. And another thing that the gaslighter is excellent at is love bombing. So, you know, if we're in a relationship and they're telling us how incredible we are, how amazing, how they can't believe we came into their lives, I would be a little weary of that.
right, right, right.
But I would also say we're more susceptible and really craving that kind of affection and validation.
This opens up the door to a number of people becoming targets then if
Yeah.
someone has just gotten a divorce and they haven't worked on these areas or recognized the pattern of emotional abuse or gaslighting that they were going through within their home arrangement as a child or with
Yeah.
other siblings that were gaslighting them or whatever it may be, to the point that now they leave one relationship saying, I'll never go back and have that happen to me. And just like that,
Yeah.
just bingo, there they are back in the same situation. And now they are wondering how, when, where, and why. But it's more than likely because something needed to be addressed before they essentially move forward,
Right.
because now they can't really move forward.
Yeah, and I see that unfortunately in clients a lot, especially in kind of a relationship setting where it just feels so good all at once right away. And I would just say to really, you know, get your support and then really become aware.
That's not easy though. I'm just okay. Now I have to do this.
Do it.
That's not easy for you to sit there and go through that and watch someone do that,
Nope.
especially if they don't want to adhere to the admonition that you give them.
Welcome to being a therapist.
I'm, wait, I'm trying to filter my words as I say it because I don't. Maybe somebody's here gone through that. It's easy for me to get in dad mode and go like, let me tell you how this is going to work. You're either going to, Tom, you said Tommy. I can't, Tom Cruise in the movie Night and Day, I think it is. And he tells I can't think of her name. He says, this is with me and this is without me. With
Yeah.
me, without me. And that's kind of where we have to be with ourselves. Okay, I need to spend more time with myself
Yes.
and deal with these issues. If not, I go with someone else. I'm not my full me yet. I'm
Nope.
not my fully developed me so that I can hold my ground if someone starts to try to abuse me. You got
Right.
so much happening on the screen.
I'm
I'm gonna,
both you and the screen.
yeah, yeah. Hey, no, you know what? Pick out anything you want to there. There's everybody's talking, so whatever you
Right.
want to answer.
I think April, Steve Vo one said, what's the behavior of the gaslighter once we catch on to what they're doing? That's a great question. So it really depends how we respond, and the change really starts here. And what I would say is to not engage. Right? Like if we can do anything to change the pattern, it's to begin to understand, to not engage. And they are going to realize that there's a term called gray rocking that we talk a lot about, where you just keep it on the surface. That's a boundary. And once we begin to set those kinds of boundaries, they may be on to us. They may react. I always say, get ready to possibly brace for impact. But then they may move on, and we may move on. As we get stronger and healthier and further in our recovery, we may be ready to move on.
Okay. Now, you're saying don't respond, but they live for a response.
Yeah, yep.
What should we then brace ourselves for, and how can we go about bracing for it?
I mean, my first thought was, please be sure you're safe. Please be sure you're always physically safe. So sometimes responding is a way we have to keep ourselves safe. So I want to say that first and foremost.
Got it.
But I would also say we can be prepared for perhaps some narcissistic rage that can look like, hysterical, that can look like them playing the victim, that can look like them projecting onto us all that they're thinking, and then it can look like them leaving and going on to the next bit of narcissistic supply. So, but standing in our own authentic truth, which is something I talk about in the book, is really like, that's our truth. Let's stand in it and claim our land, claim our boundaries.
Yeah, right. Now, that can be quite challenging for someone in a position. Kelly, I love you, but I'm not picking on you. But that can be like Kelly McDonald here, 79. Dealing with her dad, or maybe she experienced that with her dad, or another person within the family. If somebody's experiencing that within the family, like Kelly mentioned, well, we're kind of talking about that can be challenging because it's your parent, or it's your older brother or sister or a cousin. It can be challenging to stand your ground when someone is a parent.
Yes.
How can someone navigate? One or two tips. I know you mentioned standing your ground, claiming your space. You're on this planet for a reason as well, not to be pushed around in somebody's emotional and mental, physical punching bag.
Right.
How can someone stand their ground?
I would just say begin to come to this place of acceptance. And by acceptance, I do not mean condoning the behavior.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. Right.
Taking a look at, okay, this is what this relationship is. I'm going to get to that place where I've accepted this is what it is. I'm not going to continue to engage for more, and really again be in our own authentic truth, and then begin this process of trying to have our own emotional reactions have more space between them and the situation. Okay. If that makes sense.
So more space between, as it were, you and them in the situation, if I understood you correctly. Did I say that right?
Yeah, say it again.
So we need to create some space between them and the situation and us, or how are you saying it?
Our own emotional reactions to the situation, right? I want that engagement. If we don't give it to them, they're starved. That's their supply. They're starved. And then we manage how we feel about things. Where is our loss in this? Where's our, and bring it back to here.
Okay. Instead of trying to project it out to create peace, we need to make sure we're holding that peace within ourselves and not allowing the war that's happening inside of them to overturn our peace. And now we're fighting, and now we've got a very bad situation that we will regret later. They won't.
That's right. Yes. Beautifully said. Yep.
Wow. That is, okay. So you got a lot happening here. So let me make sure, everybody, by the way, we are here to, for me personally, I wanted to make sure to showcase the book again, please, if you could hold it up for us.
Is that good? Can you see it?
That is absolutely perfect, man. You put it right. Everybody, please take a screenshot. Barnes and Noble, anywhere else that you can find this publication journal, feel free to do so. You were going
Amazon.
to say something, Lisa?
Yeah, Amazon, and you can also head over to my website.
Which
Um,
is
it's www.alisastamps, ALISASTAMPS.com.
okay, everybody. Feel free to tell a friend, by the way, or if you're really in a great mood, put the pizza down, put both of them down, and buy one for yourself and send one as a gift to somebody. Okay, everybody, please don't make me look bad in front of my guests. Put the pizza down, get the book.
Make some
I will.
stocking stuff. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, 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 you know what? Send one to your emotional abuser. So they can do the work on themselves and stop being an emotional abuser.
Yeah,
I got to get to the screen here before we have to go. Alyssa cannot stay with us all day, everybody. She does have clients that she has to see, but I want to get some of your comments in. Feel free to keep them coming until we have to go. Right now, I wanted to look at something that was said here by Ann. Hello, Ann. Ann Crosby, one of our faithful people that hold on to the show and our guest. She says, oh, I'm sorry. Let me do something. Before I read that, there is one that I missed here. I need to read to you.
sure.
From share underscore unbound. She will be on the show soon. She wrote this. She says, I'm interested in your views. This is for you. I want to call you Doc. And this is for you, Alyssa. Everybody comes on, they're a doc on this show, and it's not true, but yeah. I'm interested in your view on gaslighting the self after a
Yes.
person has left. Okay,
Yeah.
so the gaslighting, so everybody understands that. She is asking a question about gaslighting that we do to ourselves, if I understand that correctly, after the person, the abuser, is gone.
Right. Well, especially let's say if we've grown up in this narcissistic family system and have been gaslit from such an early age, it can feel like a part of us. It can feel like nothing, right? So we can question ourselves all the time. We can question, did I make that right choice? Did I really say that? How was that? Did I, you know what I mean? So whenever I'm noticing, and I'll say this to clients and even myself, when I'm noticing that sort of, well, maybe it wasn't like that. Well, maybe did I do that? It's an indicator a part of us may be really doing some gaslighting right now. So just something to be aware of too.
Navigating away from that so that a person, let's say I'm doing that to myself, for me to navigate away from that technically lifestyle, even
Right.
though the abuser is gone, the narcie's gone, the toxic person is gone, all
Right.
of that's the case. We're in a totally different realm, space, continent, if need be. But yet, here I go, gaslighting myself.
Yes.
What practices can I implement to make progress toward getting back to a non-gaslighting lifestyle?
I would say, and I don't mean to be too therapist-y here, but what I try to.
I have never had a therapist come on and say that. Okay, wait, time out. I got to take a laugh. That is unbelievable. To therapy, I got to find a way to write that. I gotta write that. I might have just a therapist live Zoom show with just, I want everybody to be therapy. Okay, that's cool. No, really, go ahead and do that.
All right, I'll be a little. Is to try and get into our own self energy. I work with folks and I use a modality called internal family systems, or IFS. And what it does is allow us to get to know different parts of self, parts that protect us, parts that carry a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. The hope is we're going to be in this, we're going to get to a place of being in self energy. That's the true authentic self. It carries qualities such as connectiveness, curiosity, connection, compassion, right?
Hmm.
So the more we can ground in authenticity, begin to know who we are, what are our likes, what are our dislikes, am I even feeling emotion right now? What does emotion feel like?
Hmm.
Beginning to, become our own CEOs of ourselves. And that to me is the way out. That's the way through.
When it comes to being in a position that we run our own emotional company as CEOs, that means that we recognize the value of what we produce when we're with other people. We recognize what we generate from other people. And we recognize we're not going to go bankrupt by letting a narcissist or a narky or a toxic person project onto us their bad company value. We
That's
have
right.
our own emotional value.
That's
But
right.
that's going to be challenging, but it can be done, is what you're saying.
It can be done. It takes time.
Okay.
And it's not a linear process. So we will have moments that don't feel great,
Yeah.
that perhaps we re-engage a bit, but it's
Hmm.
all part of the learning. It's all part of exploring ourselves and coming to know and love ourselves, ultimately, hopefully love ourselves.
Right. And not to beat ourselves up because someone else cannot manage or were mismanaged by their parents or
Yeah,
someone else. If they can't manage their emotions or regulate themselves, we can have a measure of empathy, but we can't have a measure of, everybody's not going to like this, but I'm going to say it. We can't have a measure of stupidity though, because that's, I'm just saying, if somebody's drowning, we can't just jump in there and they keep flailing their arms, and the narc is flailing their arms emotionally, and we're trying to get in there to save them, and they're going to take us down with them.
that's right. I took a workshop with Dr. Ken Adams, who has great
Yeah.
stuff. I want to check him out.
I've heard
Um,
the name. Yeah.
yeah, it was all about working with folks that came from being enmeshed with a parent. And what
Okay.
so profound, and it hit me personally and professionally, was that it is the last spiritual act of the parent to accept the loss of their child if we choose to go low or no contact. It is not our
Yeah.
responsibility to
Yeah.
help them with that.
That aspect of living, knowing that per se you don't give up on humanity per se, but you have to give up on the practices or the lifestyle of that person if it's detrimental to your own peace of your own home, your own values, your children.
Right.
That a parent, yet a parent, that can be challenging, but they're going to look at it and go like, okay, you got to go.
That's right.
You got. I love you, but you can't do that here.
Right.
Okay,
That's and in
and
our
that. Go
immediate
ahead,
circle.
please.
Sorry, didn't mean to
No, no,
interrupt.
please. No, no, no. Go ahead.
In our
No, no,
circle
please.
should be us, our partner, our children. That's who is in that gets
Yeah.
to be in the circle.
Right.
Everyone
Right.
else outside.
Right. And when it comes to someone within that circle that is detrimental, of course, some measure of setting matters straight, reconciliation, number of things can come into play. But if they literally have proved themselves to be toxic,
Yeah.
emotionally abusive, then there needs to be a step to protect the greater good, or those who are under our care.
Right.
So much has been discussed here today. As I told everyone, we can't stay all day with my dear friend here, who I firmly believe has been on the show more than anyone else. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, and then I'll probably have to give you bad news, tell you came in second. But I
It's a,
can't think of, really, right now, I can't think of anyone else that has been on the show more than you,
uh, that's
multiple times. I have to take a look. The majority of the shows are on our website right now and not necessarily on Instagram, but I'll have to take a look. But I want you to know that there has been, Ann Crosby has said, great advice. Others have mentioned that the Gaslighting Recovery Journal, yes, that's exactly what it is, April. Others are here, and I appreciate everyone for stopping by or joining in. Art for Annie, Anastasia, as I mentioned, others, Kelly, Sophia. I do need to get to this statement or question that came in from Anne that I touched on earlier. But before I read that again, I'm going to say Kelly McDonald 79 says, yes, I have gone no contact unless it's very important. And she mentions that is very hard for her.
it is
That is,
hard. It's really hard. And that's why, and I talk about this in the book too. There is a grief to this. There is a loss to this. And that is part of the healing and the recovery, as well as working through that.
Okay, that's a very valuable statement you make before I read the last statement we have, and then we're going to end the show here on a few other notes. But I want to get to Ann's statement in just a moment. But you're saying that that's a part of the process. That's not always easy for someone to swallow then when you're dealing with them as a therapist, or even now in this discussion. Someone's
Right.
going to go like, well, it's so hard, it doesn't seem like that's the right thing to do. And others may tell them, no, you need to just do this or you need to do this. But you're saying we need to process. I would need to process emotionally what's taking place at a pace that's good for me before
That's
I re-engage, or in some cases may never end up engaging again.
That's right. And everybody, it looks really different for everybody, and always trying to honor that and also where people are in the process. So
Mhm.
that fine line that I need to be mindful of is to not lead people down a road they're not ready to go down yet. And to really honor that, but to not discount the grief and loss that comes, because it's not easy. Even though they were our abusers, we still loved them. They were perhaps our parent or our partner. There's still parts of us that desperately want something different, and we need to honor that as well.
And we need to honor those who are going through the process and not try to push them in a direction that they are not capable of or ready to do.
Yes.
That could really set them back, and it may make the situation worse,
Yeah.
and cause us to be accountable for what they're going through emotionally because we opened our mouth when we should have remained silent and showed some type of silent support.
Right.
I got to get to Ann because
Yes.
Ann is here. Ann says, "Why does it take so long to recover from the aftermath of narcissistic abuse?" It says, "I am out over a year and still not ready to date, and I am no contact completely, but scared of meeting another narcissist."
Yes. Yeah, I
All,
think that,
all yours. Go ahead.
that thank you for sharing that, first of all. And that's a big fear. I think that that is really a big fear. Again, the narcissist core fear is abandonment. So that's where they work from. They project that onto us all the time. So it then becomes our fear. This abandonment, this will this happen to me again? And again, just honoring where we're at, being aware of where we're at, what is still hurting, what do we still need to do for ourselves to begin to heal. And I always look at a 12-step recovery program. One of their cardinal rules is do not be in a relationship, right? Like there's that line in 28 Days with Sandra Bullock.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
Go, when you come out of here, go get a plant. If that's still alive in a year, go get a pet. If that's
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
right. So we need to honor the time to get to know and begin to love ourselves before we can give it out there.
Yeah. Find something else to take care of and take care of it for a while. And when it responds back, then you do that for a bit and you're probably getting ready for a relationship,
Yeah.
because it teaches us to recognize in a relationship with a plant, a pet, anything that grows, growth is a part of it. Yeah, ourselves. Yeah, we should be growing as we take care of our plants or a pet. We should
That's right.
learn something new about the plant or about the pet every day, and it will fill a void that when we're growing, that a human can't, especially if
Right.
that human is toxic.
Right. And
And
an opportunity to learn how to care for something, which hopefully then will translate it into
yeah,
us care.
yeah,
Sorry.
and then no, no, will you stop saying that?
Well,
You should know you're such a beautiful, polite person who won't come on my show and sing. Hint,
oh,
hint, hint, hint. I had to throw that in before you have to go. So I know that will never come. By the way, I've seen the postings, by the way. I saw the posting of you singing.
yeah.
I saw the microphone. I see how it is. You do it on your page, but you won't come on the show. All right. So, when it comes to a relationship, and as Ann is talking about, running into someone that is going to treat us just as bad as the last person, or if not worse,
Right.
can make us fearful of not just being abandoned again based upon what you said, but being abused emotionally and gaslighting.
Yes.
But you've laid out a couple of tips that we can keep in mind by referencing the movie, so, which is really actually very helpful for some who may feel a need to have as many plants as possible. Become the plant guy or the plant lady or the guy with pets and go into the dog park, right?
Right.
Because then we will learn not to overlove or overextend ourselves emotionally to the point that we become susceptible to a narcissist. At
Right.
least that's just my opinion.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
just a guy with a show. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
But yeah, I mean, anything we can do anything in excess to fill voids.
Yeah.
And the most attention needs to be paid is right here.
To the void that we feel. To be able to put it in writing maybe, or to, I'm just like with your book, a journal, we need to be able to not just know there's a void, recognize what it is, be able to literally see it so that we can then start to process or tackle it. And now we're impenetrable, as it
Yeah.
were.
And I would say to sit in it too, as
Ah,
much as you tolerate.
okay. And would you say, no, would you say as much as you can tolerate? Is that what you
Yeah.
said? I
Yeah.
like that. That should be a post of yours. That should be a t-shirt, as much as you can tolerate. It should say emotions, hashtag as much as you can tolerate.
Yeah. We did. You look at
Sit in it.
all
What?
you. You
No,
just
no, no. I don't. No, I don't even have time to make my own shirt. My daughters had to do that. I don't. I just. I don't have time. I'd rather do these shows. But no, you go ahead and run with that. Just make a posting with that. I like that. Everybody here, make sure I got everybody down. Somebody said will do. April says the Gaslighting Recovery Journal. She said she's going to get that. Great advice. Ann says inner work is what Cher Unbound says, and then she tells you thank you for your words. The roots of empathy. Before we have to go, everybody, I'll do this little rundown. It says the roots of empathy says the loop of thoughts, for example, created through gaslighting can create cognitive, of course, dissonance. People went through abuse need to understand they are not getting mad. They're not going mad, as it were. I guess that can happen, huh? You start to think, well, like in the movie.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, she got to the place of insanity from it.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
I don't want to ask too much and get out of place here, but you can spank me back into my spot if you want to. Have you seen that? Have you seen somebody going through that?
I've seen the beginnings of things a lot where people jump into relationships that I know, like I can see the red flags. I maybe point them out a little bit or just offer them a suggestion, but have to kind of step back and watch them sometimes really begin to crash and burn, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. It is a concern of mine when people are going through what we talk about here and brought up about uh, getting accustomed to essentially being by oneself, being by yourself. But that doesn't mean you're alone.
Nope.
Whether it be plants, whether it be animals, whether it be close friends, you're not alone. You can feel alone.
Right.
Entertainment can make you feel alone. Change the entertainment, change the channel,
Right.
find something else. But overall, we need to spend time by ourselves. I gotta say, Lizzie 805 agrees with the plant. She says I had a plant for over a year. Um, I can't even tell you how many plants are in my house with my two daughters who are single. So they keep finding more, and they have no desire to get married. So at some point, I'm gonna throw the plants away so that I can have grandchildren. So, so anyhow, what I'm highlighting is your advice has been strong and sound as usual. You're such a smooth therapist. That's the way I see you. You're just so smooth about how you say things, and it just goes in.
Well,
But your expertise is dealing with how would you describe it? What type of a therapist are you? If someone here is in the on the East Coast and in the I think you're in Philadelphia, right? Pennsylvania area.
yeah, really.
How would you describe yourself so that others, if they needed to reach out to you, or if they just wanted to DM you, how would you describe what you do?
So, I specialize in working with adult children of narcissists and then also folks that are struggling with body image and disordered eating. And there's a big connection there a lot of the time. Um, and then I'm a Gestalt therapist, so I approach things from a place of curiosity and just kind of be a guide to helping people bring things to their awareness, also the connection of patterns. And then I do internal family systems work. So we're working with inner parts, inner child healing parts. But I'm really experiential, pretty organic. I'm not going to send you home with a worksheet. So, a lot of the homework sometimes is just begin to notice things. Because when we're gaslit, we don't notice anything, especially with ourselves.
Right.
So
If you need to, as an audience, if you need to, I'm calling it out to you, if you need to get an open viewpoint of what's happening to you in some type of direction when it comes to gaslighting, emotional abuse, generational situations in which you maybe need to review with your family, as Kelly mentioned with her dad, this is the woman to like, comment, share, and follow. You heard me. Like, comment, share, follow. Put the pizza down. Use the money to buy the book instead. And by the way, I'll give you a 2-for-1 on this, everybody. I don't control the price, but I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
We have Tracy Malone that has passed through. She's been on numerous times. She's rivaling you, by the way. She's pretty close to being almost on as much as anybody else as well. She's awesome.
Yeah, and I was so grateful and fortunate enough to write a little excerpt in her new book coming out.
Yes, I was just about to say 2-for-1 is this. You're looking at Alyssa here, but I am telling you right now, Divorcing a Narcissist, I'm probably saying the title wrong, Tracy, please forgive me. And this book here that we're looking at here when it comes to recovery, if I don't want to say it wrong. What is it again, please? Recovery journal that you have?
Oh, I'll do that.
Yes, please do. The Gaslighting Recovery Journal and Divorcing a Narcissist should be in your wheelhouse of books that you constantly revolve through and go through as you recover from dealing with a troublemaker that has been in your life. Do not waste your time. Get both books. That's 2 weekends of not eating pizza and beer. So just get the books because your emotional health is worth it. Don't make me look bad, everybody, in front of my guests. Okay, don't come in my house and don't spend money. So you gotta go spend the money and get the publications that are going to help you. When it comes to your book, what is it that you want your book? What imprint do you want your book to have on the community that we're talking to right now?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is for people to know they're not alone.
Okay.
And that this is a real type of abuse. Others, you're not alone, not trying to invalidate anybody's story, but that there is a community of people healing from the same. And I'm aware of that too, because I run a group for adult children of narcissists that are healing. But that just you have a community. You're not alone, and the support and resources are there.
Right. The group, if anyone is interested in the group that you run, that's my bad. That's right, you do have a group.
Oh, good.
Can you tell everybody a little bit about that? And then maybe when the show is over with, after I upload this, if you can get in the comments for the show and just highlight your group and how they can find you and other stuff. But go ahead right now, please.
Yeah, the group's called Shattering the Mirror. It's in its almost 2nd year of running, which is unbelievable. It's running virtually, so that means we can really have a lot more access. I had folks joining from North Carolina, I had somebody joining from the Bahamas, but it is really a processing and psychoeducational group around healing from narcissistic abuse. I utilize Dr. Carol McBride's techniques for her 5-step recovery program. I'm certified in her level 1 5-step recovery program for therapists. So we utilize some of those and again, just build a community, have a place to share our stories.
Yeah. Everyone, please feel free to reach out and be a part of this group that could help you. We have gone 47 minutes. That means it's time for us to say goodbye to you. I tried to pack as much into this as I could, but thank you for taking out of your precious time of helping others to be here. And everyone, like usual, everybody loves you anyhow. So I'm not need to tell you something you don't know, but everybody loved the show. They're telling you, they love everything. Your book is a life changer, according to Tracy Malone.
Thank
I
you.
take that is an understatement, and that's a high compliment from a wonderful woman who is very down to earth. I love her as being down to earth. All of her postings. You, on the other hand, I think hold the mantle for being on the show the most. So I have to say this before we go. You, as well as many others from last year, a total of 78 people were on last year in 20 weeks. We went 20 weeks. That was our first year.
Wow.
My two daughters and us started this. And in 20 weeks, we found 78 people. You were one of them who were willing to come on, and no one knew us. And you came on and helped the people that we wanted to help. And you have been back now today. I am honored to have you on anytime, always, because you are a real human being. Everybody can take that the wrong way, but I really mean that. It may sound weird, but you are a real human being. There's no hidden agenda. Your content is yours. It's for real. It's not stolen from someone else. You are so real, and I appreciate you beyond belief. Even though you won't sing on my show, I had to give it one more shot. I had to give it one more shot before you go, because I know you got an amazing voice, and you just keeping it. And for me, I'm going to have to go pay tickets to watch you one day. Anyhow, everybody, this is not a moment for me to allow you to talk. I just wanted to say that to you. It has been a year we've been doing this, and I'm so honored you're back now. I'm happy for you and your book, and the sky's the limit. There's no ceiling on your potential in your life. No matter what the past was like, you kicked that to the curb, you dissected it, and now you're helping others. And anytime it comes back, your past, remember, you've done so many good things in your present and in the future. You're changing people's thoughts and lives, and you are just a wonderful woman and a beautiful human being. For coming on our show when we first came on, me and my daughters are indebted to you for helping us get to where we are right now. And I know I can always count on you to encourage people like you just did today. And you and Tracy, man, you guys need to have your own TV channel. I'm gonna tell CNN they need to give you a spot or something. Anyhow, so you both are awesome people, but today is your day to be the diva, and I graciously say thank you. And any last words before I pull the plug here?
I mean, so kind, and I thank you so much for this platform, what you're doing for folks. I mean, I'm speechless as to what you said. So thank you. That's kind. I'll sing a little bit for you. Want a little something?
Yes, yes.
I'll sing just a little tiny thing. At last, the skies above are blue. There you go.
Okay. I got goosebumps in my brain. What's
that?
I knew you had a good voice. See, I knew you had a good voice. Thank you very much, my friend. You have totally made my day. So we'll see everybody later. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. My dear friend, please continue to do whatever you do, because what you're doing, nobody can do it like you. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
So much.
Take care, everybody. Bye for now.